Nobody saw what was coming in court. No one at all expected it. The people in the room leaned forward, waiting for something calm and maybe serious. But when Leonardo DiCaprio stepped up to speak, what they heard instead was one of the most upsetting things in the whole trial. Leonardo didn't get angry, cry, or blame anyone. He shared what Sean Diddy Combs asked him to do during a private dinner back in 2014, and he said it in a quiet but very creepy way. One strange part of the contract, which wasn't written down, was that he had to take a bath in water that Diddy had already used in order to be accepted. At first it sounded like a weird joke, but what happened later showed it was very real. It quickly became clear that Diddy had been in charge of the whole situation in a scary way. At the beginning, it felt like just another Hollywood dinner, or at least that's what Leonardo DiCaprio thought. While he was filming in Los Angeles in late 2014, someone sent him an invitation in a secret way. The invite came not from a talent agent or movie boss, but from Diddy himself. "Private dinner," the message said. That was all. No agents, just artists. Come alone. The dinner took place at a house in the Malibu Hills, not a popular celebrity place, but very hidden. Leonardo, who was always curious but careful, said yes. Everything felt strange the moment he got there. No photographers were waiting outside. There wasn't even a valet. Just one security guard who checked his name and took his phone. "No phones allowed," the guard said seriously. Inside, it felt more like a setup for a show than someone's house. Candles were spread all over the floor and soft music played from hidden speakers. Diddy stood smiling at the end of a long table. He called out to Leonardo and said, "Glad you made it." The candlelight and silence made it clear there were no staff around, just Diddy and Leonardo at that big table. Leonardo later told the court it didn't feel like a normal dinner. It felt more like a strange ritual, not a fun meetup. After they sat down, Diddy gave them each a glass of wine and said, "Let's talk legacy." They didn't talk about a movie at all. Diddy only spoke about power, secrets, and how people have to earn their way into the very top circles. He never showed anything like a movie script or project plan. He only said that this thing, whatever it was, wasn't normal Hollywood and only a few people get asked. He said it would change whoever joined it forever. While giving his statement in court, Leonardo shared that it was the weirdest talk he'd ever had. "This isn't acting," Diddy kept saying. "This is about transforming, becoming something new." Leonardo first thought maybe this was just a special kind of acting project, one where you dive into the role so deep you almost forget it's fake. Diddy leaned close and said, "But first, you must check. It's the only way this works." Leonardo said what happened next didn't feel like a movie idea. It felt more like brainwashing. Diddy put a black folder on the table between the candles. When Leonardo opened it, there wasn't a script, plan, or list of actors. Inside was just one piece of paper with 7 strange bullet points. It wasn't from a studio and didn't have any sort of legal markings. The things on the list sounded more like steps for a ceremony. First, trust even if you don't see. Second, tell no one about this project. Third, like everyone else, you'll be reborn when you touch the water. Fourth, don't ask questions. Fifth, your reward is legacy. If you care about money, leave now. Sixth, you must cleanse. Number 7, loyalty lasts forever. Leonardo looked up and asked clearly, "Is this supposed to be for a movie or not?" Diddy just grinned and said, "You ask too many questions, Leo. That's why I invited you, because you still wonder." Leonardo told the court that something inside him didn't feel right. He thought maybe this was all a final test to see if he would follow along. He had seen a lot of strange Hollywood ideas, but nothing like this. Diddy said that the project didn't even have a name, and that was on purpose. The people who do it, he said, they don't need credits. It was like going off the grid for a deep personal test before getting any rewards. When Leonardo hesitated and asked for more info, Diddy's voice became lower. "You're thinking too small," he said. "You want a script? I'm offering transformation." Then, Leonardo shared what was the weirdest part of the night. Diddy placed a tiny black stone on the table and said, "Take this with you into the bath. When you come out, you'll be changed forever." Leonardo asked what bathhouse meant, and Diddy smiled bigger and said it was part 2 of the loyalty process. "That's when you begin to get wet," Leonardo remembered. Diddy leaned in and spoke gently. "We're all connected by water," he said. "Water keeps memories. That's why who you bathe with matters." Diddy talked about a strange ceremony that proved your loyalty. Leonardo said it still made him feel sick even now, just thinking about it. It felt like something gross and personal. Not a symbol, not spiritual. "If you're serious," Diddy told him, "come to the next event. Bring that pebble. Step into the same water I used. Then I'll know you're ready." Diddy said it wasn't a joke. Leonardo blinked, thinking maybe Diddy was using a weird metaphor, but Diddy continued, "My assistant will prepare the bath. After I leave, you'll go in. My water will wash you clean." Everyone in the court gasped softly at that sentence. Leonardo remembered just staring at Diddy for a long time, trying to understand. "I thought he was testing me," Leonardo said, "trying to mess with me." But he was 100%. He stood up. He quietly thanked Diddy for the dinner and walked out. As he reached the door, Diddy called out, "You'll come back. They always do." Leonardo still wasn't sure if it was real or some kind of publicity prank. Back at his car, he found his phone inside a sealed black envelope. A note was tucked in. "Loyalty is tested in water." The words were in gold letters. He never answered and never returned. But after that night, Leonardo's career began to slowly change. He stopped getting roles. Creative partners started to disappear. He told the court that even people he trusted suddenly pulled away. "I wasn't sure if it was connected," Leonardo said. "But everything changed after that bath night." He tried to forget the weird dinner and move on, but something kept bothering him. At first it was something simple. A phone call at 3:17 in the morning. 3 days later. Just static on the line. No voice, no number. Then one deep breath, slow and controlled, before silence again. It sort of stopped, then came again, and it kept happening. Over the next 2 weeks, Leonardo got 5 more calls. All blocked numbers, all at weird hours, all the same strange breathing and dead silence. Then he started seeing strange cars parked outside his house for long periods. One day, he found a small black packet on his windshield. Inside it was a piece of paper that looked like old parchment. It said, "Unfinished rituals have consequences." It was signed with just one letter, S. There was no way to trace where it came from. Leonardo told the court he felt afraid, yes, but didn't want to jump to conclusions. He reached out to a trusted friend and agent. The agent told him something firm. "If you didn't sign or speak, forget it." But the agent also added something scary. "There are people who don't like hearing no, especially when they believe you already belong." Leonardo kept trying to move forward. He had a great new role lined up with a small studio. People were excited. Investors loved the script and the vibe. Then suddenly, days before filming, the studio pulled out. Another project, a big surprise appearance in a major movie sequel, also just vanished. The excuse was bad timing, but then something strange happened. A famous director who had worked with Leonardo before reached out and said quietly, "I don't know what you turned down, but it scared the right people." That's when Leonardo began to realize this wasn't just about a dinner. It was something much bigger. Over the months that followed, Leonardo's career suffered in a quiet, weird way. Nothing scandalous, no drama in the news. But behind the scenes, she looked at him for a second, waited, then walked away smiling. That moment gave him chills. He began to realize that the dinner he walked away from was not just dinner, it was a secret entry test. The court later heard from other witnesses who shared how people became super famous after working with Diddy, and how people who said no kind of disappeared from the scene. Leonardo said he started seeing a pattern. Some people suddenly got everything, others vanished. There was even a rumor about a former action movie actor who vanished after arguing with Diddy's circle. He didn't play the game, people whispered, and he paid for it. Leonardo said Hollywood felt like a house of mirrors. It wasn't the directors or studio bosses in charge, it was secret people hidden behind curtains, making all the big choices. Leonardo also mentioned how his name was removed from a charity he helped build. No warning, just a message. The board is going in another direction. Later, he found out that same charity got a big secret donation before he was cut. And the new spokesperson? A famous actor connected to Diddy's crew. It wasn't just missed jobs, it was being left out on purpose. One time in a meeting, a movie boss suddenly took a phone call and ended their talk fast. "Sorry, we'll need to reschedule," they said, but they never called back. In court, Leonardo said, "It's not like being blacklisted, it's like being deleted, quietly, on purpose." Probably the most shocking thing Leonardo said in court was what happened when Diddy talked about other stars. Halfway through the dinner, Diddy started talking in code about people who had earned their place. He used words like baptized in legacy and proved their loyalty. No names were directly said, but Leonardo understood the hint. "You ever wonder why he became famous so fast?" Diddy had asked him. He stayed loyal. About a woman who was now in a big film series, Diddy said, "She got the trilogy because she didn't ask questions." Leonardo thought at first Diddy was joking when he mentioned the bath. But Diddy was calm and serious. "That's why they get everything," he said, "because they showed me their mind." Leonardo didn't name names in court, but said that some of the biggest stars in the world were talked about that night. Diddy didn't accuse them, he just hinted. But Leonardo saw clearly that the people who rose fast had done things others wouldn't. "I didn't want to believe it," Leonardo said, but it got harder and harder to ignore. Diddy even pointed at a new superhero actor and said, "He was in the bath for 2 minutes, that's all it took." The courtroom got super quiet when he said that. The jurors looked shocked and uncomfortable. The judge didn't speak. Leonardo then said, "I might have ignored it if it was just me, but I know others were asked too. I was just one of the ones who walked away alone." Leonardo kept telling his story, which felt like something out of a scary movie. After all the creepy calls and lost jobs, he got another message, not from Diddy, but from a friend close to him. "If you want to know the truth, come see the vault." Leonardo wanted to ignore it, but curiosity won. He agreed, to a point. He said the meeting had to happen in a fair place, but instead, they took him to what looked like a Beverly Hills penthouse. Inside, it didn't feel like a home. It felt like a spy center. Bare walls, machines humming. Then Diddy showed him something he called insurance. Leonardo said he saw drawers, each one labeled with a name. "No need to open them," Diddy said. "Everybody has leverage. I just keep mine neat and clean." Then he looked at Leonardo and added, "If you had gone into that bath, you'd have your own drawer." Leonardo understood right away. The drawers held secrets, big ones, maybe contracts, maybe NDAs, and they were about very famous people. Diddy made one last offer. "You don't have to say anything, just show up. Silence is enough." Leonardo refused politely but strongly. As the elevator doors shut, he told the court, Diddy said one last thing. "Silence is loyalty." Leonardo then revealed just how long he waited to tell the truth. He admitted he could have spoken sooner. He wanted to when he heard about other victims, or when he saw stars slowly vanish, but he always got warnings. A friend once said, "Don't be the guy who exposes the club." And he always held back, afraid no one would believe him. One time, after hearing emotional testimony from Cassie Ventura in court and listening to evidence that mirrored what happened to him, Leonardo said, "It wasn't just about me." He remembered a message from another actor from 2020, someone who had seen too much. "This is your chance," that actor said. "If you speak, I've got your back." But Leonardo deleted it, out of fear. That changed when the court called him officially. Then he knew it was now or never. "I'm not doing this for revenge," he told the judge. "I'm doing it to be honest before I leave this business for good." By the time Leonardo DiCaprio was done talking, the courtroom felt totally different. Diddy's lawyers looked scared. All the famous supporters in the audience were gone, and the courtroom went completely quiet. Every time Diddy's lawyers tried to stop Leonardo's words by saying, "That's not allowed," the judge shut them down. Everyone in the jury watched Leonardo like hawks. One juror wiped away a tear. Leonardo's long speech felt like a deep message against the whole industry. "The only reason I'm still here is because I said no," Leonardo said finally. "And the only reason I said no is because I believed there was still some good left." Then he looked at Diddy, whose head was down, jaw tight, lips still. "I'd rather disappear from Hollywood than be remembered for stepping into your water," Leonardo said. "No matter what you promise about It was a loud, powerful moment. Then the court called for a break. Outside, reporters rushed to break the news. Artists scrambled to draw sketches of the scene. And Leonardo didn't just tell a story. He confirmed every rumor people had whispered for years.